Uh, this is Akinyemi Samson from Tenavacity Reading and Memory Academy. Somebody asked a question, and I quickly want to answer that question in a very short moment. And the person asked, how can I bounce back from poor academic performance? I will quickly deal with the answer quickly so that I do not take much time. I just want to ensure that the person has an answer to the question that they have. Number one, you must remember I said that there is nothing that we are teaching that is in isolation to anything that you have known. So whatsoever we teach is not to be isolated from other things that are working. And that is why you must be careful of people that peg some things as certain things, especially when it comes to learning, that this is what you do, you can get distinction. If it is a system that works for you, fine. But it may not work for everybody because human being varies. So the first thing you need to do is to review the test or the result. Review it. Look at it, okay? What went wrong? What did I do? A lot of times people refuses to sit down and look at the pattern of things and try to make adjustments. Without that, you cannot do anything. And this review, I call it error pattern analysis. You have to check, is there a pattern for this mistake? Is there a pattern that has been taking place over time that I didn't pay attention to? You must be able to know this. That's number one. Review the test results, or you can call it error pattern analysis. Number two, analyze studying habits. Please, this is not some ironclad rules that you must follow, but they are just things you should do. They are things you should do. So if you attempt any of all of this and you have the right habits, it will work for you. But if you don't have the right habit, you will not see results. So this is not promised. It is only promised on condition that it works for you or you have the right attitude towards it. The second thing you need to do is to analyze your studying habits. If you are using the wrong habit, you can't get anything. We have said earlier on, if your studying habit is violating the principles of learning, you cannot get anything. In the principle of learning, information must go past the sensory memory, go past the working memory, and properly encoded before it will get to the long-term memory. So a lot of people violate that. They only stay in the working memory, and that's why they can't learn much. They have difficulty learning. And as long as you stay on this, you cannot learn better. So you analyze your learning or studying habits. And the third thing is to develop a system. I have not really thought on this, but one of these days I shall. You must develop a system. A system refers to the interconnected things that you do that make things work for you. And it should be unique to you. Yeah, system should be unique to you. Because the system that works in another organization does not necessarily have to work in another organization. Rather, in an organization for another. So that is why we have different constitution as a nation. So the constitution of Republic of Benin is different from the constitution of Nigeria. They are not the same. They are not the same. So if you want to bounce back from poor performance, number one, carry out an error pattern analysis. Carry out an error pattern analysis. What are the errors I have made? Has those things been recurring? A lot of times, people in calculation, the errors that most people make, including myself, is the manipulation of science. Is the manipulation of science. Or maybe when you are dealing with calculus, you forget to do double integration. You did it once. You will not get the answer. So you have to check for all of those patterns and ensure that you find a way to nip it in the bud. Very important. You analyze your studying habits. You cannot use acronym for complex problem like calculus. It does not work. It's different method for different problem. You cannot use a coined saying for calculus. It may not work. You understand? It may not work. So calculation courses, they are procedural processes. They require procedural processes where you follow procedures. Because if you don't follow procedures, you will not make the most out of it. And you must have a system. Have a system. Your system should comprise of where you read, when you read, which method you use to read. Should there be a noise? How do you read? For how long should you read? Which technique should you employ? So it should be tailored for you. And the moment you have tried it, because you need to test. Once you have tested it and it has been working, then that's why I cannot come up here and be telling you that try this method, it will automatically work. It won't. It will not. Number one, you don't have the same habits. as I have. You don't have the same mindset as I have. You do not even have the same previous knowledge as I have. So it is not promised. You will encounter difficulty. What if you back out along the way? A lot of people back out when they encounter difficulty in trying something new. And that is where learning is. It is in encountering difficulty that learning is. It is the surmounting of that difficulty that made you learn. Except you already know what you are learning before. Maybe you are reinforcing it. That's also part of learning. But if what you are learning is something new, you will encounter difficulty. Staying with that difficulty and overcoming it is the real learning. You have just learned. But what do people do? They back out. Because it is difficult. It is hard. I can't get it. Then you have not learned. And that is where the problem is. So if you are bouncing back from bad performance, try these 3 things. They are not ironclad rules. They are not ironclad rules. And it is promised to work on condition that you use it the right way. So if you found anybody in that position who are looking for a way to bounce back, you can let me know. I can do a separate videos for all of the points where we'll be able to elaborate extensively on them. So, but for now, we have to stop there. You can bounce back from any poor performance. Anyone can bounce back from any poor performance, so long as you have the right mindset, you have the right attitude, and you develop a system, and you check the error pattern analysis. You can bounce back from any poor academic performance. So till I come your way again, you have a great day. Good evening.